Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this broadcast. My name is Ali Board, and this broadcast is all about Technique Tuesday. It's lovely to be here. Now, you might be watching this on catch up, you might be watching this live via Facebook. No matter how you are watching, of course, you are always very, very welcome indeed. Now, if you are watching this live, do feel free to put some comments in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know what the weather's doing. Let me know how 30 days is for you. What's 30 days? What 30 days, what could that possibly all be about? It's my challenge for the month of September. 30 days hath September. So that is 30 prompts. We've had a different word or selection of prompts every day for the 30 days. Well, 26 and a half so far. And I've been recording some films for you. They've been about 30 minutes long. Some of them have been a bit shorter. Some of them have been a little bit longer. And it will go on right up until the end of September. Who can believe that we've only got 3 days to go? It sort of started off at a really lovely, beautiful canter at the start of the month. And I feel like I'm racing headlong, full tilt, gallop, warp speed towards the end of the month. Not sure what I'm talking about? Let's share a little graphic with you. And I can see that we've got some comments in. I will address all those comments in just a second. So this is what we've been up to. Here are the 30 prompts. We've done all sorts of stuff, some really kind of disparate types of subject matter, and we have been sharing all kinds of things, and some of you have been following along, some of you have been commenting and encouraging other people, some of you have kind of pick and mixed your way, picked and mixed is bad grammar, isn't it, through these subject matter. It really does not matter how you are doing this. It doesn't matter if you've not had time to take part. It doesn't matter if you're not really feeling it at the moment. This is the kind of content that will stay there no matter what. Maybe some of you paint, maybe some of you don't, maybe some of you just like to comment and see what other people are doing. Any way that you've been interacting with it is absolutely fine by me. Now, I know some of you have been doing it every single day, and all credit to you for doing things every single day, because believe me, I know how tough that can be, particularly on days where you're thinking, oh, I'm not feeling it today, Ali, I'm a bit tired, or what's this prompt all about? I'm not feeling terribly inspired. So if you have sort of bulldozed your way through those low moments, then congratulations, we're all nearly there. Now today I'm going to be talking about the prompt for the day, which is pirouette. If you know me, then you kind of know why I chose pirouette, but we'll talk more about that in just a second. But before we do all of that, I want to say some good mornings and hellos, because those people who are watching live on Facebook have taken the time and trouble to comment, for which I'm very grateful. Rabina, you get comment of the day, my lovely, because you were first up before everybody else. I saw your comment ping up, and so thank you for that. Who else have we got in the room? Maureen, Thea, Anne, Patricia, clearly cold where Patricia is, Sharon, good morning in Adelaide, in Australia, Carol is in Australia as well, oh gosh, everybody in the room, 2 Carols, oh gosh, that's confusing, Patricia, that might have been my issue on the information that you got sent, for which I apologise, not the SAA. And Sharon is saying it's cold and raining in Adelaide. Okay, I don't feel nearly so bad about the fact it's cold and raining in Dorset then. And good morning. And dull in Nottinghamshire. I'm heading up that way tonight. I'm heading up there, Carol. So send some sunny weather for my trip, would you? Hilary, who else have we got? Marion, Anne. What else? Who have we got? Ali D is in Palma, Mallorca. Gosh, we're international today. Chrissy is still in pyjamas. Good for you. Good for you. Why should you not be in pyjamas? Whoever you, wherever you are in the world and watching, whoever you are with this morning, thank you very much for taking the time and trouble. So let's go to that overhead camera, shall we? And we will show you the 30 days sketchbook. Here it is, very kindly and generously gifted to me by Hannah Muller. Beautiful sketchbook. This has been such a joy to work in. It really has. And good morning, Denise. Alan is in the room. Hello, lovely. Thank you very much for tuning in. So we've been doing all sorts of things. Now, I was not, before this challenge, somebody who enjoyed a sketchbook. Didn't like a sketchbook at all. I liked to work outside of sketchbooks. I liked to kind of do things on larger pieces of paper. But you know what? I think I'm a bit of a convert. I really do. I think that actually there's quite a lot to be said for a sketchbook. I'm always late to the party with these things. And here you go, you can see some of the subjects that we have been covering. And let's get to the sort of more recent ones. Where did we get to? So this was last week's live broadcast. This was junk mail, where we did some printmaking. And if you want to see that, you can watch it lots of different ways. So you can watch it on catch-up video via the SAA's page. You can watch it catch-up video on my Facebook page, or you can pop over to the 30 Days blog. So to do that, I'm going to show you exactly how you can access that 30 Days blog. So you go to my website, www.learningtopaint.co.uk. And then up there, can you see there's all sorts of goodies for you. But if you go to resources and you go down to 30 Days hath September, then you will see all of the blog posts. You will see that today's is already up there, but we've got all of them there for your delight and delectation. So we've got night, layers, self-portrait, stone, and all of that content. Let's just choose one, shall we? Let's go for stone. You can access all of that content, it's all free. And you will see that I write a little bit about it. There's a video there which you can play and you can watch back through. There's just a soundtrack to it. There's no actual voices. There's no commentary on it at all, but you can watch it back through. And look, you can fast forward. You can watch me do things really, really quickly if you want to watch all of that content back. And then there's a little bit of information on what I did and how I did it. So plenty there for you to enjoy. You can catch up with all of that. That information is going to stay there for as long as is humanly possible. And I can see some questions coming in already. Marion, I did reply on the blog, my lovely, to the question that you sent me. Carol is saying, it's wonderful. I've done all mine on individual sheets, been scared of spoiling my book, but I may give it a go. Or, Carol, you could make your sheets into a sketchbook. There's a workshop right there. So this was last week. This was junk mail. Then what else have we done? We did peace, which I actually kind of interpreted as tranquility. We did rain. I had way too much fun with that one. What else have we done? We did stone. I had quite a lot of fun with this one as well. And I wish you could actually feel what I feel on this page, because there's a considerable amount of texture on there. And what else have we done? We did self-portrait. A lot of comments coming in about me as a 5-year-old there, and me as a 40-something-year-old there. And then day before yesterday was layers. I had fun with acetate and photography and all sorts of things on that. And then yesterday was night, where I did some pastel work, and I talked about using something to protect your pastels. And so here we are at day 27, which is pirouette. And let's start as we mean to go on, and let's start in exactly the same way that we have done with all of these challenges, that little creative ritual of putting the day and the title. So I'm going over to my letter stamps for that. And the same ink pad. I haven't deviated from this at all. It's been actually, we talk about creative rituals a lot, because creative rituals are sometimes a way of kind of getting your head in the zone. And I've really loved this creative ritual. This way of sort of titling, it makes me feel like I should produce something, kind of gets my head in the zone. So let's go to the stamp pad. Where should I put it today? Not entirely sure how today's demo is going to manifest itself. So let's go over here. Let's go over here. So we've got D. I have to put them back in the right place, otherwise my brain explodes. A. Oh, I'm obviously being very heavy-handed today. Isn't that interesting? A Y. Y. And what did I say we were? 27. I can't count to save my life. So let's go 2, and then let's, oh, come back. Let's go, is that a 7? Yes, it is a 7. Goodness. Have any of the rest of you, I'd be interested to know if any of the rest of you have been labelling your pages up in this way too. Just out of sheer interest, really. So it's I just let me know in the comments if you're watching live and you're in the comments. Then let me know. I would be very interested to see how it's going on. Denise has absolutely called me out and saying not a control freak. Then yes, of course I'm a control freak. I fully admit that. Always have done. Right, so the other thing I do, as well as putting the day number that we're on, is that I put the title. And because I am such a huge lover of vintage stationery, being the daughter of stationers, then I'm going to use my Dymo machine to do that. Good bit of low tech, like a bit of low tech. I like my high tech too, but I do like a bit of low tech. So to do that, what it does is it embosses letters in a plastic type of tape. So all I've got to do is remember how to spell pirouette, which you would think I would know, wouldn't you, being both an ex and current ballet teacher. So that is where this inspiration comes from, in that ballet is a huge part of my life. It's been a huge part of my life since I was 5 years old, probably a little bit earlier than that actually. And are we spelling pirouette with 2 T's, Ali? And so it always kind of features somewhere in my work. And what I do now, instead, although I do teach ballet to children on occasion, I now specialise in teaching ballet to adults. So if any of you are struggling a little bit with your artwork, just let me know and you can come to one of my ballet classes instead. Right, let's peel the back off of this, chuck it over there in the bin, and then let's get it laid in. Now, why have I gone for pink tape when you can clearly see that quite a few of the others are gold? I did that on purpose because I wanted to remember which ones of the broadcast that I did were lives. So I'm hoping I'll remember that. So let's get that burnished down. And then we've got a nice double page to be able to talk about pirouettes. And I've got what I hope are some interesting things to share with you today. Some stuff that you might not know about ballet. So I'm actually going to put this to one side temporarily. I'm just going to prop it up, hopefully where it doesn't fall down like it did last week. And I've got some stuff to share with you. So let's talk to you about this first. This is a photograph that I took. It's a bad photograph, but it was a kind of in-between shot. This is my lovely friend Naomi, who is currently training to be a professional and in musical theatre. Very, very talented she is too, and I wish her every success with her career. She has been a bit of a muse for me because she does a lovely thing of allowing me to photograph her, and we've had several photo shoots, and she featured in my book as well. And because we're talking about pirouettes today, we're talking about turns. So a pirouette is a turn that a dancer does, usually on the spot, but there are variations on a theme. This isn't quite a pirouette. It's a different kind of turn, but for the purposes, the artistic purposes of today, it actually fits in really well. And I like this photograph a lot. I'm going to do other things with it because I love the fact that she hasn't got her hair up and her sort of hair is dictating the movement. I love the fact that she's got her back to me, all of those kind of things. So I'm just going to hold that thought temporarily, put that to one side. I have a copyright-free sheet of music which is actually something that I've downloaded from one of the many sites that I use for kind of collage and ephemera and things. I don't actually know. I mean, it's a polka. I can read that. I can read that it's a 2/4, so it's a kind of bright, sprightly piece of music. And if you read music as well, you'll see there's an awful lot of flats in there, so I can't imagine that it's particularly easy to play. So I've got that as well. So I've got those two things. And then I've got this, which you may or may not be interested in. I find this fascinating to the point, actually, I've been thinking about doing a bit more of this. Now this, whilst it looks like a load of squiggles, and you're probably thinking, ooh, Ali's into her mark making again. I'm not. This is something called Benesch movement notation. And what Benesch movement notation is a way of being able to write down a series of steps or even whole ballets in a particular shorthand to pass those on either to other teachers or to other choreographers, or to pass it down so that the way that a choreographer has put together a ballet doesn't kind of get muddied. And that is really important in the history of ballet, because the way that choreographers like Petipa and those that choreographed in the 19th century, we want to retain that information. And so Benesch movement notation writes it all down for posterity. It's also a way that choreographers can put together a piece and they can pass it on to somebody else, and that will get taught to the dancers in the way that the choreographer would like. Now, I only have a very, very basic knowledge of Benesch, and you can see that it looks very similar to a music stave, and that is done on purpose. It's so that when the kind of heads of music and choreographers and the like want to have a discourse amongst them, you can put this style of notation underneath a music score so that you can see exactly when a dancer is supposed to do something and how they're supposed to do it. So it's constructed on the same music stave that musical notes are. It just has a slightly different way of reading it. I hope you're finding this interesting. I find it fascinating. What these are, it's as if the dancer is being seen from behind. So it's as if the dancer is facing away from you. See what I did there with Naomi? The different sections or the different lines of the music stave show different parts of the dancer. So the top line is the top of the head. The next line down are the shoulders. Then you have the waist. Then you have the knees. And then you have the floor. Now, there are so many different marks on this that show things like this little mark here shows the direction. This little mark here will show the direction of the movement. There's dots and dashes and all sorts of things. And like I said, I only have very basic knowledge. But what I can tell you is this little bit of Benesch movement notation is showing me two different kinds of pirouettes. What's called a pirouette en dehors, so a pirouette that goes outwards. So where a dancer would spin kind of towards their working leg and away from their working leg, sorry. And a pirouette en dedans where they would spin inwards, so towards their working leg. So all of that aside, what I've got is some Benesch movement notation, a music stave, and the beautiful Naomi. And it's Naomi where I'm going to start today, because I thought I would do a little bit of collage with Naomi today in the book. I thought that actually it would be interesting to see if we could get Naomi looking like she's sort of spinning across the page. So the first thing I'm going to do with this rather lethal looking thing is I'm going to cut her out, because I don't need all of the dance studio in the background. And I'm going to do that fairly roughly. I don't want to be sort of cutting all in between her fingers and making too much of a thing about it. We will come back to, I say I don't want to cut in between her fingers, but the way her hand is constructed, I might have to. Let's just cut it off there to start with, and then we'll cut around her body, down her leg, I really hope I don't chop her leg off. Into her toe. Let's see her, because I sort of want a silhouette like. Oh, Anne is saying that she, oh, good morning, Judith. She loves the dance, Dave. Good, I'm glad. It's a bit, I've sort of geeked out on my ballet this morning, but I think I'm allowed to. I love everything about ballet just so much. It's such a enormous part of my life growing up, and I'm so honoured to still be part of that world, really, to still be teaching, to still be involved with a dance school, to still be helping adults believe that they can dance no matter what their shape and size. That's a very important part of the process for me. And when I can, helping to inspire younger generations, boys and girls. We have both in the school, and it's very lovely to be part of that. Obviously, I was one of those kids at one point, and some of the ballet teachers that I had in my life have been the most inspirational people. Very lucky to work with the people that I have done in my career. So let's just free up her foot. She looks a bit she looks a bit weird at the minute, doesn't she? I'm hoping to do her justice. She won't be watching this this morning, but I might have to send her a copy of the footage, and she'll be amused that I'm still using these photographs of her, because these were shot 3 or 4 years ago now, but I still use them. So we've got her hand there. She's got a little club hand over here. Now, who else is in the room? So Lynn is saying, good morning all. Was at Rambert Dance School and danced with Matthew Bourne for many years, so always interested in ballet. Lynn, that's fantastic. And Anne is saying, I had a flute teacher who used to play for the National Ballet and he absolutely loved it. Oh, I'm loving these stories. If you have dance-related stories, do keep them coming in, because I think it's fascinating. And if you ever get the chance to go and see live dance, live performance, ballet, whatever it is, then please do. It's just a beautiful experience, particularly if it's with a live orchestra too. I really don't think you can beat it. I do have some ballet performances booked for later in the year, and I'm looking forward to them immensely. Right, how's she coming on? She's getting there. I think what we'll do, again, rather than cut around all of her hair at the moment, we'll just take a line, try very hard not to chop her arm off, and we'll just get her out of that scenario so that we can see what we've got. Let's just put her on a bit of white paper. So she's got lots of movement. She looks quite dynamic, which I'm liking, but she does need tidying up a little bit. So let's take her over here and let's cut back into this. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about from an art point of view this morning was, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the use of photographs, particularly in painting. I'm just in the process of teaching some beginners, and we've had quite a discussion about the use of photographs and whether it is, and I'm going to use this word loosely because you know how much I hate this word, whether it is cheating. I'd also like your thoughts on using photographs in collage generally. So if you have any particular thoughts on that, stick them in the Facebook chat. I'd love to hear about them. Oh, Lynn was saying her daughter was at Rambert. Ah, how lovely. What a lovely thing to be part of. Very, very prestigious dance school indeed. Let's just get some of this hair. Now, I want to have a look at this, because at the moment it looks like that hair is a bit tentacle-like and coming out the front of her face. So I'm actually going to chop it off. I'm not liking it, and that's usually my answer to everything, is that that's better. So it sort of makes a little bit more sense. That'll do. She looks a bit lost and lonely, doesn't she? So we'll pop her to one side for the moment, and what do I want to do next? I think we'll get some music out of this. Let's just give it a trim first. Let's just trim the white areas from it, and then we'll have a think about what we want. We might get the sketchbook back in. to see what sort of layout. Believe me, I haven't decided yet. I sort of picked my images, I picked my materials out to share with you this morning, but to be honest, past that, I didn't try to think about it too much. And I think that is the kind of the crux of 30 days, is to not overthink it. Now, there's some comments coming in about the use of photographs. What is Anne saying? If a photograph is what is needed as part of mixed media piece of work, then definitely use it, and could not agree more. Photographs are just another tool. Digital devices are just another piece of technology. In the same way that a camera obscura was for people like Vermeer, then so is an iPhone to us. Right, so we've got that, we've got this going on. Not sure what I want to do with that yet, but let's get the 30 days book back in, and let's just see what we want to do with this. Do I want to put all of that down? I'm not sure that I do. I want sort of Naomi, I'm going to do all of this thought process out loud. I sort of want her spinning out of the music, I think. I think that's what I want. So maybe I need to cut this into strips, right? Go on, Naomi, you go over there. And then let's cut this down a little bit more. So this ruler just is as old as the hills, this ruler, but it's got a rubber back to it so it doesn't slip. Do I want the top? Oh, no, it's not. Stop overthinking it, Ali. Just cut stuff up and worry about it later. I'm not even sure how straight these are, but you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. One more. And then maybe we can find a way of getting Naomi spinning. So I've got some bits of that. Let's just have a play around with these and see. Ooh, I wonder. I've just had an idea. It's always dangerous, isn't it? Can't actually remember what order these were in now. I've just had an idea. First things first, then. I think I need to chop this one down. So let's hope I've got all the materials around me for this idea. Otherwise, I am going to be in trouble. And you might have to whistle between yourselves whilst I grab some things. So let's just trim this down. How wide was that? A bit narrower than that. So let's trim this down and get rid of that bit. And then what we've got is a sort of a line of music going on here. I think I need that one in the middle. Over there. I think I need that, and then maybe we will have this one here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, luckily I've got some sellotape here. I promise you, I did not plan this at all. So Marion, good morning, Jean. Marion is saying, I don't see a problem with using photos, pictures in any artwork. It's all in the expression of the artist. Yes, absolutely, Marion. You can do what you want, when you want, and how you want, in my opinion. As long as you're being creative, what else does it matter? So we've got that bit of sellotape there. And then let's join this up here. Sellotape, not exactly the prettiest of things, it has to be said. But it'll be all right. It'll be fine. Oh, if you stuck the sellotape on straight, Ali, it would be even better. So let's... what I could probably do with is my scissors, but I haven't got them within easy reach. So let's use my craft knife. Oh, do you know what? I don't even have to do that, do I? Numpty. Let's just fold those over. Then I don't have to get in a sticky mess. There we go. And yes, Marion B is saying, we've got lots of Marions in the room today. Marions and Carols today. Marion B is saying, love mixed media because everything is allowed, including photographs. Yes. There we go. We've got this kind of nice, continuous strip of music, as if I'm sort of thinking it sort of looks like it sounds, you know, this lovely, continuous, lyrical bit of music. And we know it's a polka, so we know it's bright and lively. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this side into the book and then decide what to do with the right hand side in a minute. Let's just whack some Pritt stick on it. I've used Pritt stick pretty much exclusively all the way through the 30 days project. Nice and easy, sticks brilliantly, does exactly what it says, nice and quick, fast drying, all of that stuff. So over here in the book, let's set it down a little bit. I don't really know why, but let's set it down a little bit. And we'll give it a really good burnish so that it sticks in the book. I'm just popping a little sort of fold mark in there so that when the book folds up, it does so easily. Let's just check that that works. And what we've got is this kind of nice tail, which I think what I'm going to try and do is concertina. So how can I do this? Let's go back a little bit and we'll do some, I'm just trying to think about the folding that I want. That should work, shouldn't it? So if I line this up so that that sort of reaches the, maybe I want it to come back a little bit. Yeah, that's better. So if I fold it in that way, line it up so that it's straight, and then put some crease marks in it, then what I'll have is a sort of pop out music stave so that I can go like this. That's quite fun, isn't it? Like that. Now, what that means is that maybe I can stick Naomi somewhere on here so that she moves with the music, and because she's sort of moving away from it, then she becomes Pop Out Naomi. That's quite fun, isn't it? But before I do that, let's see what I want to do with that bit of movement notation. So I'm going to stick that to one side. And do you remember me saying, I did sort of have a bit of an inkling of this before we started, that we've got top of the head, shoulders, waist, knees and floor. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this out and separate them a little bit more, because we don't need all this white paper around it. And then maybe I'll assign the different bits of the stave to Naomi, perhaps. Thinking out loud now and seeing what I can come up with. So this is much more craft oriented than it is necessarily fine art, but you know me, I like to occupy those spaces in between various techniques. So I don't like to pigeonhole myself too much in saying that I'm a watercolorist or I'm an oil painter. Not that there's anything wrong with any of those things, but for me, I prefer to challenge myself. That's why I say that I'm a mixed media artist, so that I can dip in and dip it out of these various disciplines as I wish to. So let's line that. Luckily we've got a nice grid on my cutting mat so that I can get fairly straight lines. So got rid of all of that. Now we're left with just the music notation part of it, which, now if I cut this up, let me just think out loud about this. If I cut this up, do I want to cut on the line or do I want to cut between the lines? Now if I cut between the lines, I am going to kind of cut through the notation. If I cut on the lines, then I'm going to get myself in a right pickle, aren't I? Do you know what? I'm going to cut on the lines. That may be a bad idea, but we'll soon work it out, won't we? So what I've got to do as well is keep them in order. So there's the top one, not that that's got anything in it, because that's just the space above the line. Then, so that the line on the right hand side is the top of the head, and the line that I'm cutting is the shoulders. So let's cut that through, pop that over there so I don't get it out of order. Then we'll come down to the waist. Let's come down here to that. Ooh, cutting all the way along. There we go. Oh, they look really interesting, don't they? Kind of out of context. And a bit more, if you come to my courses, workshops, tutorials on a regular basis, you know that I talk at length about mark making. And I think that's what attracts me to Benesh, is that it is a series of marks on a piece of paper that sort of mirror, oh rats, I've torn it, that sort of mirror my artwork. It's got a bit of a rip in it, be all right. And I think that's why I find it fascinating, that it does kind of mirror what I'm doing in my painting. Let's come down there. I think I've just chopped a bit off my ruler. This is a very, very, very sharp scalpel. No, we'll sort that out in a minute. We'll sort that little nick out. And then we've got that really interesting bit at the bottom. So we've got all of those things. Now all we've got to do is decide what to do with them. So let's push those ever so slightly out of the way. Actually, I don't want that top one. No point in having that. And let's have Naomi, and then let's see what we can do with these. So we've got top of the head and the shoulders, waist, and then knees, and then floor, and then we've kind of got the directional instructions there too. So if we had Naomi, do I want her on the end, or do I want her sort of sandwiched in there? I think I kind of want her sandwiched in there, actually. We'll think about that in a minute. And then maybe I can use my bits of notation to show the bits of her. Maybe we can get some interesting things. So we've got top of the head, shoulders, waist. Oh, so that's that will be in there somewhere. And then we've got waist and knees. So maybe I'll bring that one down a little bit over there. And then we've got floor. No, that's floor. And it's always a tricky one, isn't it? The composition of collage I find really interesting, because I can't honestly tell you why I necessarily put something in a particular place. A lot of it is intuition, and that doesn't help, does it, when you're learning things? But this is the point in the procedure where I sort of poke it around until I think it looks aesthetically pleasing, or it's got some interesting marks to be made. And I think that's going to do it for me. I quite like the way that is set up. So let's make some little bits of room. Now, what is Marion B saying? Marion is saying, like to hear you say that you consider yourself a mixed media artist because of the challenge. That's what got me into it as well. Yeah, I think it's just, I think for me, it's just not wanting to be pigeonholed, and it gives me the scope to do lots of other more experimental things, because as you know, I like the experimenting. So that's really interesting, Marion, to hear that you got into it for the same reason. Right, we're gluing down now. We're going to try to complete this project and bring it to some sort of conclusion. Now this one, can I be clever with this one is the answer. Let's tuck Naomi in a little bit more. I want to see if I can... I'm going to leave that one till last because I want to see if I can partly stick it on the paper and partly stick it to Naomi. And then this one, we're actually going to chop the end off of the bit that I messed up when I cut it, because there's no actual information on that anyway. So we'll chop the end off that, and we'll stick it to this bit of music, I think. So let's pop a little bit of Pritt stick on the end. Just use my finger, sometimes faster. I think laying it across the music stave is quite interesting as well. And we'll, I'll cut the end off that one as well. And then we'll stick that one. So what's that? That's floor, isn't it? Or coming towards the bottom of the floor. The bottom of the floor? No, the bottom of the dancer. Not the bottom of the floor, Ali. And then we'll stick this one in down here. I'm hoping that this kind of constant narration that I do is useful to you. I try to, on Technique Tuesday, say as many things out loud as I possibly can, because when you're watching a demonstrating artist, I think sometimes you're not entirely sure why they make a particular decision or what has led them to put something in a particular place. And I'm not sure, if you're learning and you want to absorb as much information as possible, I think you want to hear those things, those reasons behind why an artist does something in a specific way. So Anne is saying, what I have got out of 30 days is being able to be spontaneous and not getting hung up on the getting it right. It has allowed me to play and go with my intuition on where the picture's going. And that's brilliant news. That's just literally everything that I would wish for everybody. And Denise, quite rightly, because she's a fabulous collage artist, is saying that she loves playing too. So it's great to have you here, Denise. Thank you so much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick Naomi in to start with. So let's get her spinning her way across this music stave. So where do I need to glue? I need to glue that leg. So this is a position called an attitude. And I need to pop some glue. So I just need to put some glue on her torso, I think. So let's stick some down in there. And let's get her tucked in that bit of music stave, and we'll stick her leg down, and then she's attached to that bit of paper, and then we'll see if we can be clever. Always a first time for everything. So what I want to do is I'm going to make a cut just there on the bit of notation. Just pull that apart. And then I'm going to stick this bit down in the sketchbook in there. So I think I want that. Let's line everything up. Come on, Naomi, let's get organised. So we'll pop that bit in there, and we'll stick that in and up and along. And then we'll try to be smart with this bit. Pop a little bit of glue on it. And then if we line that up, we can stick it on her there. And then when we pull her out of the frame, look, then the notation comes with her. That's all right, isn't it? That's right. Let's just do a little bit of tidying up, because some of it's a little bit skew-whiff. So let's pop some of this in. I have a feeling that's going to need to have a fold in it too. There we go. Maybe if I did this again, I would do it on slightly heavier paper, possibly. So look, the notation comes out with her. So she's kind of spinning her way. She's pirouetting her way across that bit of notation. And then I think to finish off in true mixed media style, we will find a nice pen. I've got my little, this is my sort of pencil case of doom here, which has all the things in it that I use on a regular basis. So let's find a pen and let's make some marks on the piece of paper that show extra little kind of bits of notation. I am a really big fan in terms of aesthetics of these kind of marks that show direction of spin. So let's get some of those in. There's lots of correlation between the marks that are made for music notation and the marks that are made for dance notation as well. So if you're into any of that, or you compose your own music, then you'll see that actually the bass clef over here looks very similar to the direction of travel marks that are here. So let's get a few extra of those in. I'm also really loving, I know what this means in notation, it's when you take your arms out to the side. I'm liking that mark too. So I think what I will do is over here, we'll take an arm mark and we'll show it so that Naomi is spinning into it. Let's do it. Oh, sorry, got my head in shot. Where it's spinning over there. Let's put a little mark in there too. What else can we do? Is that one's slightly drunk, isn't it? Well, never mind. And what else could we have? We could have. Let's do a couple of music ones as well. I don't necessarily want to do notes. But let's have a couple of, we said, didn't we, that there were a lot of flats in this. So let's do a little flat symbol over here. Let's colour that in over there. And then maybe one more. Let's do a dot, because dots are used a lot in notation. So let's have a dot down here at the bottom. So not only is the music kind of strong and bright, but our prompt for the day, that pirouette, has us getting Naomi spinning her way out of the sketchbook. She could pirouette her way into the distance, couldn't she? And she likes a turn, does our Naomi, so she would be sniggering right now. So there we have it. We have day 27. Our prompt for the day is pirouette. We haven't necessarily gone down the more traditional routes of drawing a dancer. I have used some of the collage materials that I have at my disposal, and hopefully you've seen a little bit of insight, a little bit of thought as to why I've put things together. Now, thank you, Sharon. Sharon is saying that she loves the thoughts behind it. Good, I'm glad. I hope it gives you a bit of an insight. And Marion is saying, you're so right, and because it's in a sketchbook, it can just be for your eyes and no performance pressure. I love looking through my sketchbooks, Marion. That is very good news indeed. So that is the last of the live broadcast for 30 Days Hath September, but you still have 3 days to come. So tomorrow we're going to be talking, the prompt is frame. Why is it frame? Because tonight I'm travelling up to Nottingham and I'm going to be helping the SAA team to hang the Artist of the Year exhibition at a gallery in Nottingham tomorrow, so I thought that was kind of very apt. Don't worry, there's still footage for you to see. There'll still be a blog tomorrow. And then on Thursday, so what are we on? That's day 29. That is Sapphire. A bit of a different one for me, and you're going to need to tune in to see what I do with that. And then Patricia is saying, I wish I could live inside your mind. You really don't want to, Patricia. And then the last one, day 30 of 30 Days Has September, is of course Celebration. And so I have a bit of a clue as to what it is that I would like to do with that. And I have a surprise for you on day 30 as well, because there's going to be a very special image shared on the blog, but I'm not going to tell you about that at all. You're going to have to tune in for that. Now, if you can bear with me just a few minutes more, I have some thank yous to make, because this is my last opportunity really to say them out loud. An enormous thank you to Hannah Muller for very kindly gifting me this sketchbook. I know that it has inspired an awful lot of you to get your own and start creating your own. I'm a sketchbook convert, it has to be said. I want to say a big thank you to my publishers, Search Press, who have been helping me on social media and promoting all of this on the sidelines. And an enormous thank you to the SAA, of course, who have been helping me out and helping me to promote it. And of course have been allowing me to share my content over on their social media channels. So huge thanks to that. But as always, the biggest thanks goes to you guys out there, because otherwise it would just be me talking to myself. So no matter how you have tuned in, whether you are a big commenter or you just sit on the sidelines and you're very happy to watch everybody else, then thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking part in that, because without you out there being a tutor and being a demonstrator is absolutely nothing. Now, Marion is asking a pertinent question to end today's session on. She is saying, I wonder where you had the prompts from. I'd like to continue with it in October. I have a little book that I write things down in, random thoughts, random ideas. It's years old, my book now. And when I have an idea for a workshop or something kind of crops up, I just write it down in there. And of course, not only that, but I had a calendar of events to do as well, because of continuing my business and with some of the things that I knew that I was going to be teaching, or some of the places that I knew I was going to be going, I made the prompts fit in with those too. So it was just a little bit of shuffling really. and get somebody to choose the prompts for you. Go through dictionaries, randomly pick a word and see how that manifests itself for you. But it's great news, Marion, that you want to continue it in October, because that's what it's all about. And lots of people saying thank you. Yes, Anne B is also saying Inktober. There's the Inktober. Google that if you're not sure what it is. But lots of ways that you can continue it. Or do what I'm going to do, which is to go back through my sketchbook and start to develop some of those ideas. You've probably already seen that I will be hosting a nature journaling workshop later in the year in December, all based on the fact that you guys out there wanted me to show you some of the techniques. So pop over to the website and you'll see that too. Now, I'm going to take a little bit of a break from Technique Tuesday. As you can imagine, 30 days is pretty full on. So I will be back, I'm just looking because the date's written over here, on the 18th of October with an autumn leaves project. So I hope that you can join me for that. Take lots of care of yourselves, won't you? Keep encouraging each other. Keep making sure that everybody out there is very much included and their art has value, which I know that you do. And yes, absolutely, use the prompts. And lots of comments coming in on what you can do with 30 days now. I'm loving it. But yes, take lots of care of yourselves. I will see you on the 18th of October, and I will look forward to catching up with you then. Until then, lots of love to all of you. Thank you for your support during 30 days, and I will see you very soon. Bye. Bye.